background about our program, what we do here, and also how what you're doing here in the Bay is part of a larger picture here in East Oahu. So a lot of the reason why this invasive algae in the Bay is here is because of how we've changed our activities on the land. So the biggest thing that we've done is that we've changed this natural landscape that used to be a flat marshland into an area that has a lot of impervious cover, which is just an area, land that isn't able to let water seep back into the soil. So that's all of like the streets, parking lots, driveways, and shopping centers that are cemented over. And so that doesn't allow the water to go back into the ground, and it allows the water to flush out into the ocean very quickly. So what's important about Oahu is that we have a fresh water table underneath the ground, and the way that the ancient Hawaiians managed their water, they treated it as a sacred resource, and so it was used and conserved as it was flowing down over the land, and then cleansed in fish ponds and captured before it went out into the bay. So instead of having it seep back into the soil, what we have is our storm drain system set up, and this is mostly to protect housing and to get the water off the land as fast as possible. So in this map, you can see all of these little red dots are all of the storm drains, and everything that flows off of the street and into the storm drain system flows straight into the bay unfiltered. And that brings a lot of things with it, like all of the sediment from the hillsides and the land, but also things like toxins from cars, pollutants. You have a lot of fertilizers from those lawns, and a lot of other chemicals and trash and debris that all flows into the bay in a big flush. So the reason that a lot of this is especially a problem in Hawaii Kai and East Oahu is we have all of these cemented stream channels. So this is the last natural stream in the area is Wailupe Stream, and when you have a natural stream flow, the water is able to flow a bit more slowly, and it collects in pools and areas. When the water slows down in pools, it allows the sediment to come out of the water and seep back, collect back on land, and the water is also percolating back into the soil as that's happening. And that replenishes the water table and also cleanses the water as that happens. So instead, to protect the housing, what they've done is they've put in a lot of these concrete channels. And so obviously with the concrete, the water isn't allowed to settle back into the ground, and you get that big freshwater pulse going out into the ocean. And with that pulse, it's traveling a lot faster, and it brings all of the sediment, all of the pollutants and the debris with it straight out into the ocean. See, this is just an example of a buildup with that first flush. You have a lot of like degraded concrete, car oils and everything that builds up on the street, and then after the dry season you get that first big rainstorm, it all flushes out into the ocean, and then the streets are clear, but all of that debris is now in the bay. And the problem with that is with all of that extra nutrients and all of the extra sediment and debris that goes out into the bay, the invasive algae can actually use that to grow really fast, and they grow a lot faster than the corals do, which is a problem because corals photosynthesize, and so when they get covered up by that fine layer of sediment, they're no longer able to photosynthesize, and then they can't grow as fast, and then they slowly die. But the algae, on the other hand, will take all the extra nutrients and grow really fast and blanket over the corals. So that's why it's really important that we're here today, is we're removing that invasive algae in order to allow that habitat space to come back, for the corals to come back. And that's important too because it's a bottom-up effect from the bottom of the ecosystem. So if you have a different base from algae or coral, that means different types of fish are attracted to the area. A lot of native fish have been disappearing, and that affects fishers' livelihoods and also just the cultural and traditional practices that are really important to communities in Hawaii. So what we have here at Kuleo'a Beach Park is we have installed a rain garden. So this is an example of what the parking lot used to look like before. So you have all of this storm water coming down into the parking lot and flooding this corner here, and then this storm drain box goes straight out into the channel behind the parking lot and straight into the bay. So what we've done is we've installed a rain garden that allows the water to slow down and collect and kind of sponge up into the plant tissue. And when it goes into the plants actually can strip out toxins, even things like hydrocarbons and petroleum from cars, into the plant tissue, and that reduces the amount that's flushing out into the ocean. Here's another example of a rain garden. This is at Wailupe Beach Park, and this is when it was first installed, so the plants have gotten a lot more established since then. But the idea is a rain garden is a depression in the ground that allows the water to flow in, cool, allows that sediment to filter out into the ground again. It allows the water to get filtered, and it also, like the protect the soil from overexposure to sun, and it keeps it moist. So Malama Mauna Lua has actually installed a number of rain gardens around East Oahu. There's the one at Wailupe Beach Park that I just mentioned, the one here at Kuli'o'o, at Cocoa Head District Park, and then there's also one at, or there's two actually at the Cocoa Marina Center over by Brew and in the Watershed Center there, and at Kaiser High School. And there's a couple more that are being planned for Holy Nativity and for Wailea charter schools too. So some other things that Malama Mauna Lua do, other than just the rain gardens, we do stream and beach cleanups and also channel cleanups. We do storm drain stand banks, and a lot of that is to provide ways to clean our land so that we're not affecting the ocean as much from all that runoff going into the bay, and also to spread awareness about how the activities that we're doing actually do directly impact the ocean, because it's all one ecosystem together. And that's why looking at it from a base point of an ecosystem-based management from the whole watershed, like the Hawaiians did with the Akua'a system, is really important, because the two are very connected together with the water cycle. So that's why it's really important that you guys are here today and to join us on any of our other events based on land with our Puama Vai, or our Cherished Waters program. And we'll take you over to the rain garden to show you a closer look at the one here.